Hi friends, welcome back to my channel with a new video. So if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and click on the bell icon. So in the today's session, we are going to see how to uh, design a bot with the best practices and the coding standards. So so what and all we need to take care while doing the coding, right? So that best practice and the coding standards we need to follow, right? For any of the development. Okay. So I have mentioned all the coding standards here. Like first we need to add the proper comments while doing the coding, and then that naming conventions for the variable. So always we need to start with the camel case. Okay. So that we'll see in the today's session, and then define a logs and screenshots. Okay, we need to create log files, process log or transaction log, error log. If suppose if any error occurred in between the process, okay, so it has to log inside that error log, and the process log is nothing but that whatever the transaction that particular task is doing, so that we are logging inside this process log or the transaction log, and then take a screenshot if any error occurred in between. So you need to take the screenshot and send it through the email. Okay, so for that we need to define the logs and screenshot, and then configuration file. So as of now, how you are doing? So for the practicing purpose, we are if any of the web page if you want to open, so you are just hard coding the URL and you are opening it, right? So that is not the good way. So we need to whatever the value we need it from that, so you need to store it in the configuration file, and then from the configuration file we need to read all the data from the config file, and then we'll make use of in the task bot. So for that we need to define all the variables, define all the values inside that config file, and then read all the data from the config file. So how these things we can achieve in the by reading the config file with the coding standard and the best practice. So let me start with that. So let me open the automation anywhere. So I'll create one task bot here. Okay. So I'll just give coding standard. I'll give. Okay, coding standard. So just click on create the bot. So here the first step is we need to add the comment, right? So in the action tab you just type comments, and here you need to add the comments. So first you put some lines here. Okay, the same way you just copy this line and paste for multiple times. Okay, and after this I add one more comment here. Okay, so you need to give the developer name here. So if you are the developer, so you need to give your name, but I'm giving my name here, and then that bot name, that whatever the task is going to do, so that task name you need to give here. So I'm just giving the login page of OpenSpan. Okay, we are just logging into a OpenSpan application, that's why I'm giving this. Okay, and then you put some line here and save this, and after that you need to add the error handling inside this. Okay, just type error. Okay, and after adding the error handling here, so we need to add again, you take the comment. So now what I need to do, I have created one config file, I'll show you. So reading, you just comment like reading config file. Okay, so let me open that config file. Okay, this is the config file I have created. Here you can see this is the parent node and this is the child node. So I have created folder paths here. So error log folder path I am mentioning here, and then process log path and the error snapshot path, and URL also I am mentioning here, and after that file path. So we need to create the error log file. So that's the reason I am giving error.txt file I am creating. So how to read data from this? So suppose if you want to email address, from email address, and CC email address, so everything, so whatever the data it is required for that particular bot, so you need to keep it in this config file, and then you need to read that. Okay, so I'm as of now I'm giving all the required fields here. From this file I need to read. So how to do that? So go back to automation anywhere. So here So we are having the XML because that is the XML file. So we need to read the data from the XML, right? For that we need to use this one, start session. So in the start session, so the session name is default, and that the file name we need to give. So that file is, you can just browse here. Okay, click on browse, or else you can directly copy the path from there. So I'm just browsing from here, automation anywhere, my docs, and here RPA, inside this RPA I have created OpenSpan order process, and here you can see, right, configuration file.xml. So open this one. So after opening this one, so what I need to do here, you can see that get single node. So get single node, that XPath we need to provide. So let me see that XPath of this. The XPath is config and then folder path and then error log. Okay, config, folder path, then error log. How to provide that? So config, then folder path, then error log. Okay, that config, C is capital. Okay, so this is how we need to give that XPath. After that we need to create one variable. So we need to store that value, right? So v error log. So v error log I'm giving. Create this one. Create this as, so if you want to use it as an input, you can use it. Okay, so I have created this variable. So same here, you just copy this line. Okay, copy this line and paste for multiple times, because I need to read other field also, right? I have read this one, error log. Now I'll read process log and then error snapshot and URL. Okay, how to read that? We'll see. Process log we need to provide now. Okay, only thing is you need to change this process log. Process log. Okay, so here we need to create one variable. V process log. Okay, click on create, and after this, the third one, error snapshot. Okay, you can copy this one also. Okay, error snapshot will create error snapshot, and then you need to create the variable v error snapshot, and then so we need to read the URL, right? So URL you need to provide. So just give URL. So remove this and put URL, and then you need to create the variable called URL. Okay, and after that, so here you can see I have created one more tag here, right? Under this parent node we have created child subnode, so that is file path. So how to use this one? Error log file path. So we'll create this one. Okay, just copy and paste this. Okay, so now here, so instead of folder paths I need to remove, I need to give file paths. We have one more subnode, right? We need to give that, and then error log file we need to provide here, and then you need to create v error log file. Okay, so now I have read all the data from the config file. We'll take one message box, because all the data which are coming from this config file or not, we'll just check it. Okay, the first node is error log, right? So error log, you just select that variable from the uh, this insert value, v error log, and then process log, select this variable v process log, and then we need to take the error snapshot. Okay, select this variable v error snapshot, and then so you need to take the URL. So URL, so it is reading the data from the config file or not, we'll check it. Okay, and then the last one is error log file. So just select this one, so error log file path, and now run the bot. Save this one and run the bot. So it is reading all the data from the config file or not, we'll check it. Okay, so in the real time we need to read the data from the config file, so we cannot hard code that value. Okay, so bot run is started now. So see here, so it is reading all the data, right? The error log file path you can see, error log and the process log, error snapshot, and then URL, and then error log file path, error log txt. Okay, this is how we need to read data from the config file. So using this one, if you want to create a folder and if you want to open that URL, how to do that? So just we'll see here. So first we'll create one folder. So I'll just showcase to you. So here I have the config file here, configuration file here, but here we are not created any folder. So now we'll create one folder here by the bot. Through bot we'll create one folder here. I'm taking the if condition here. Okay, so just double click on this if, and here we need to select folder does not exist condition, we need to check. Okay, if folder does not exist, which folder? So we have created the variable, right? So v folder, v error log folder will check it, and this is not exist, so we need to create that. So again just type create, and here you can see folder. Okay, click on this create folder. Which folder you need to create? Error log folder, right? So just select this variable v error log file folder. Okay, overwrite an existing folder. So because file first time it will create, and the second time if you want to run the bot, we should not create a new file, so we need to overwrite that. The folder is not there, error log folder. We'll see now. We'll run the bot and we'll see. So it is going to create the folder, and after this if you want to open the okay, if you want to open that URL, right? So you will take the open command from the browser. So type browser here, browser. So here you have the open command, right? So open. So in the open time, so last time in the last session we are using link to open, we are providing the value that URL path we are giving, right? So now, so this path, anyway we are reading it from the config file. We are keeping that in config file. So this path we need to give, right? URL. Okay, you have already created one variable v URL. Just put here. Okay, link to open. It will take it from that and save this. After opening that file, so it is creating folder, right? Before only we'll create a folder, and then after that we'll open that. Okay, we'll run the bot now. So now it has to read the data from the config file. After that it has to create the folder. Inside that folder, error log folder it has to create, and then it has to open the URL as well. That open spam URL it has to open. Okay, so now it is creating the folder and the bot run is completed, and so we'll see that folder it is created or not. See here it has created the error log folder. Okay, and that open spam URL also it opened here. Okay, so that is how we need to read the data from the config file and make use of this. Thank you for watching. Bye.